Welcome back, all our 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
And I'm Lane.
And we are here with Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40K battle report. Back after a week's vacation, and for some of us, it was a better vacation than others. This guy.
I got to swim with the manatees.
I got to sleep on a couch and cough a ton. He wins. Wins. Hands down. But now we are back to give you a Warhammer 40K battle report in preparation for Lane traveling to a GT this weekend. Where are you going, bud?
Cincinnati, CAG Bash, having their annual GT. They have a little convention there, a gaming convention with a lot of stuff going on, artists and games and things, but they also have a 40K tournament. So going to play in that.
Yeah, it's a great time. Hopefully I'll be able to get out there next year, obviously with the twins and everything and the change of the family situation. My travel time has gone from this to this. So we're waiting a little bit and making sure we get everyone comfortable, calm, and sleeping through the night. Key thing there, sleeping through the night. But that doesn't mean that I can't keep up with things and also help prepare this guy who has been whooping my butt the last couple of weeks. So now it's time to try to turn the tables. And oh, how the tables have turned. I am bringing the Grey Knights. You think you can up, down? You think you can teleport around the field? Let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, you're going to be upping downing more than me. And for free, too. I got to spend a strat for it.
That's right, Cupcake. But yeah, no, I'm bringing the Grey Knights. I feel like the Grey Knights, I've said it a couple times, and this is a put your money where your mouth is moment. Because I felt like I said, you know, if I was going to a tournament and stuff, play Grey Knights, bring Grey Knights. I feel like, for me, it's one of my strongest factions. So, time to put that money where the mouth is, put them on the table, and see if I can't stand up to the DeathWatch. Because as much as I'm going to talk some smack and do all those things, you know, because this is Warhammer, what's Warhammer without smack talking? The DeathWatch do have some very unique and interesting and powerful abilities, especially powerful loadouts with things like your different kill teams. Take a second to talk about those guys.
They're good.
Literally
you
1 second.
You want more than that?
I did say 1 second.
Yeah, they're good into a variety of profiles because they're they're strength buffs both for the Indomitor and the Talon Strike. They get extra AP, they get extra strength. They have great shooting strats, so they do pretty well into any kind of infantry and can kind of punch up into vehicles. I do have a Thunderstrike Speeder today, so it gives us +1 to wound into vehicles as well. So they're pretty good into most profiles. Although defensively, they don't have any special defensive abilities other than just being T6 Marine units. Mm-hmm. They can die. They can get. They can lose their little lives fairly quickly if I don't play them well. So that's kind of the downside, is that they can hit hard, but they can take a lot of damage in return.
I don't know why the Talon Strike kill team is the one that just some reason really appeals to me. I like them a lot. Like, it's just, they're really, some reason, really cool. I like how they're set up and how their loadouts are and stuff like that. The Indomitor's strong, but just something about the Talon Strike, I really just enjoy them. But enough stalling. Let's get over and talk about the list so we can get over into this game. Lane, what do you got?
In today's DeathWatch Black Spear Task Force, we have exactly 2,000 points. I'm going to run through this list pretty quickly. If you want more details on our lists, the units, how we plan to use them, please check out the separate Army videos that we do each week. But for now, here's the quick list. We've got Captain with Jump Pack. He has the Tome of Ectoclades. We have a Judicar with a Beacon Angelus enhancement. We have a Watchmaster with a Thief of Secrets. We have 2 Lieutenants in Phobos armor, and then we do have 1 Inquisitor here. For our battle line units, we have a 10-man of Deathwatch vets and a 5-man of Deathwatch vets. We do have a Rhino to carry one of those squads. We have 5-man of Assault Intercessors with Jump Packs, 5-man of Infiltrators, a little old Invader ATV with a Multi-Melta, 2 5-mans of Reavers. We do have a Storm Speeder Thunderstrike, and then our 2 big kill teams are the Talon Strike kill teams loaded out with Plasma, and then a Indomitor kill team, and the aggressors have the Bolters on them. DJ, what are you bringing today?
All right, so for my Grey Knight Warp Bane Task Force, I believe, we are starting off with 3 Dread Knight chassis. One's going to be a Grand Master. The other 2 are just standard Dread Knights. We have 2 10-mans of the Purifiers, 1 led by Crow, and a 5-man Purifier. We have a 4-man squad of Servitors, just to spend some last-minute points. A 5-man squad of Purgation Marines. 2 5-mans of the Interceptors, and 1 5-man of the Strike, led by Brotherhood Champion. Love that fight first. So, all in all, and I didn't kind of mention it, basically everyone's got weapons in them. I pretty much have side cannons all across the board except for the Strike. They have all just combat weapons, and the one squad of purifiers led by Crow is incinerators. Because man, that's a nasty Overwatch threat and just a nasty anti-infantry threat.
Yeah, it sure is.
You have your anti-infantry on your Indomitor kill team. I got my anti-infantry with Crow, and what's nice is as you beat them up, they just get stronger. That's what we saw with the Custodian matchup, where it was like you wasted like half of my army in one turn, but because of those purifiers, and that's one thing I'm most excited about, is seeing if I can replicate how powerful the purifiers were coming out of that game.
Mm-hmm.
So you made a couple changes. Is there anything that you're curious to see and try out today, like more? So I know that you locked this list in for the GT. This is what it is. No going back. This is what you're running.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything that you're still kind of curious and maybe not 100% confident behind its role in your army that you're very curious to see today?
Oh, I'm confident in everybody's roles. I just I would like to have had another big hitting kill team in there, and have lots of like small scoring units, skirmishing units. They're good in that role. But if they're not DeathWatch units, they don't benefit from the mission tactics, so that's kind of a bummer. And I just want to make sure I don't give up my big kill teams too soon, because I don't have that many of them. I got to make sure they survive for a little while. So I'm just going to play very carefully. That's all.
Right. I mean, and the nice thing is with that aspect of being able to pick the units up and put them down, you can usually keep them in that safer position. Mm-hmm. Going into this matchup with the Grey Knights, I can counter that and do the same over the course of the game. So it's going to be I feel like it's going to be a lot cagier, but we'll have to see how our decisions are when we start playing the game. My initial impression is probably a little cagey, but hey, we'll see. Secondary missions can change that real fast. Mm-hmm. All right, Lane, odd or even?
Even.
I don't know why I bother asking anymore.
And
it is odd. Isn't that odd? Yeah. Get it? See what I did there? So I get choice. Do you have any infiltrators? Mm-hmm. As I think about it, I don't have any, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, you can go ahead and deploy first, and we'll be back after deployment. All right, we are deployed. Lane, why don't you talk about what we're doing here today?
We are playing the glorious game of Warhammer 40,000. Our deployment today is Crucible of Battle, so we've got the angles here. Our primary mission is Take and Hold, so just vanilla Warhammer. 5 points for each objective you control, and then up to 15. And our mission rule is Adapt or Die. This is the one where you can cycle out your secondaries. So for people playing Tactical, which I assume we'll both be playing Tactical, twice per game we can swap out one of our secondary cards we pulled for free. Awesome. So now let's get over into our deployment. So for me, I'm going to be putting the Incinerator with Crow Purifier Squad, the 5-man Purifier Squad, 1 Nemesis Dread Knight, and 5 Interceptors are staying off the table going into Deep Strike. As far as everything else on table, well, kind of hiding back there because we're able to pick up and jump around. We have both the Dread Knights on the flanks, able to move out and kind of draw eyes onto objectives more towards the center if we decide to keep them on the table. Put 1 big 10-mana Purifiers down there so we can pick them up and redeploy them. This is the one with Psy Cannons. The Purge are hanging out back here, able to shoot because they have indirect capabilities, as long as someone else can see them. We have the Strike to sticky this home objective and then get out of there. Servitors to then zone out the backfield, which, much like in many of these missions, it doesn't really matter the home field objective. I mean, we want to hold objective markers right for this one, but I mean, we don't need to necessarily hold the home field objective. There's no extra bonus to holding it. And then we got 1 5-man Interceptor that we started out over here that's able to just kind of jump out there and grab the objective if need be. All right, that's it for me. Lane, what do you got? All right, so in Deep Strike, I do have the 10-man DeathWatch Vets with the Judicar and a 5-man of Reavers with the Phobos Lieutenant. And then on the table here, we're all kind of hidden. I do have some Reavers up here, but they do have a scout move, so I'll be able to move them at the start of the game. I have infiltrators up there infiltrating to kind of take up some position there to kind of block out DJ's uppy downies in that area. And then we're just kind of packed behind these buildings ready to go. The Indomitor and the Talon Strike can uppy downy at the end of any of DJ's turns. So they're kind of there being safe so they don't get shot right away. And we're ready to kind of move out and start scoring secondaries as soon as we can. Excellent. And now I do see this as a common thing that people say.
The biggest thing with up-down tactics is that you have to pass an opponent's end step. So a lot of people say, hey, if my opponent goes first, does that mean I can pick units up and bring them back down on turn one? And the answer is yes. The big trigger is that you have to pass that end step. So if I go first, I'm not going to be able to pick any units up, and same for Lane, until we pass that end step. But it's not actually like the strategic reserves or anything like that, so you can do it on turn one. All right, Lane, I think both of us want to go second.
I think you're right.
All right, let's
see
the
who
dice
wins the
decide.
game. Yeah. Oh, look at that big 6 you rolled.
Look at that. That's a good sign. I'll take it as a good sign. All right, so it looks like I'll be going first. You said you have a scout move that you're going to do?
Yep.
Are you still going to move them up and out?
Yep.
All right, so Lane's going to move them up, and we'll just showcase that at the beginning of my first turn. Otherwise, it's time to play the game. One thing about going first with these armies, especially when your reactive move is to pick up units and jump around the field, when you go first, you really don't do anything. Yeah. So I could have moved out and tried to do some take and hold shenanigans and get extra points, but I feel like that's a trap early on. Anything I do, any of these objectives, especially like this one I touch, this is just going to make it so that Lane doesn't even have to pick up his Indomitor kill team. He can just walk out of the wall, shoot them down, and wait for another turn and score some points. Also possibly giving him access to things like these secondaries that I drew and couldn't score in overwhelming force. I burnt one of my pitch-aways on Engage on All Fronts because I wanted to keep that for later because that's one that I can score pretty well, but yeah, this is just a trap. If I move my interceptors out here, they get shot down and could potentially give Lane easy secondary points. He could also try and charge onto that objective and just really get in close. So instead, we move the interceptors here. They're going to begin recovering assets since they're outside of my zone and in no man's land. And then we have the big brick of purifiers back here that are going to do the same. Not a very eventful turn. That's pretty much it. Just pitched overwhelming force for another command point. So we're going to go into Lane's turn with 3 CP. And that's going to be it. So, Lane, what are you doing at the end of your turn?
Well, I have a captain in this Talon Strike kill team, so I'm going to use his captain ability to up and down these 2 units, the Indomitors and the Talon Strike. The Indomitors have an Inquisitor attached, and anytime his unit is the subject or is targeted by a stratagem, I roll d6, and on a 3 up, I get a CP. So even though I didn't spend the CP, because they are the subject of the strat, or targeted by the strat, I still get the roll. So let's see. Do I get the CP? No, I don't get it. But I do up and down the Indomitors and the Talon Strike.
And if you targeted them with the strat, you can try again to get that command point back since you're still in the game one. So yeah, so both units are targeted by the stratagem. Because of the captain, you make it 0. And because they're targeted with the Inquisitor, you had a chance to gain a CP.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, well, let's kick it over to Lane and his turn 1.
So for my turn, I pulled Recover Assets and Secure No Man's Land. I did pull Overwhelming Force, and I wanted to save that for later in the game because DJ does have to get on objectives at some point. So I used our mission rule of Adapt or Die to put, when you do that, you pull a third secondary card, and then you take one of them and you shuffle it back into the deck. So I did that, and we ended up with Recover Assets and Secure No Man's Land, which is very similar to what DJ had. Or I guess he had Recover Assets and Overwhelming Force. I shuffled Overwhelming Force back into the deck, so I can maybe pull that later. But right now, we're recovering assets and securing No Man's Land. So my speeder is going to recover assets here in my deployment zone, and then the ATV there is going to recover assets just outside of my deployment zone. The Reavers that get up on touch that objective there. The Infiltrators touch the objective here. DJ and I did discuss it. We made it so that even on either side of this objective, we cannot hold it from inside the terrain. So even no matter what you see here, basically I had to put a guy out here because we just agreed that we cannot hold that objective from inside the terrain. You have to be on the other side of the terrain. So that's why I got some infiltrators sticking out here. Hopefully they don't all die. Maybe a couple of them will survive. I'm sure we're going to get shot. I'm sure I'm not going to like that. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, so we are securing No Man in 2 places, securing No Man's Land. So we get 5 there and recover assets, pending for the end of DJ's turn.
For this turn, we're looking at Defend Stronghold and Secure No Man's Land. I burnt through both of my shuffle outs already because, well, the game really wants me to have to get way into lane zone and destroy units that I can't even see. for like Mark for Death. So no game, stop it. Stop it now. So we did, however, kind of spread out. As you can see, we got a lot more units on the table now and kind of moving around. We're going to do some shooting. We actually are going to have a shooting phase now. So we picked up the Purifiers, the big 10-man brick, one of my Dread Knights, and the Purge. And we'll just scan across the table. These Interceptors jumped up. They're looking at like a 7-inch charge to go into the Assault Marines if I decide to. Then we brought the Purifiers down here, so they're tagging that objective because we have secure no man's land. And then they'll be able to shoot, I'm sorry, Purge. These are the Purge. So they're able to shoot indirectly. And then we just moved the Dread Knight up. He fell just short of tagging that objective. But hey, he can, move, advance, and charge and stuff. And Lane decided to rapid ingress these guys here. Apparently he's got an issue with that Dread Knight over there, and he's going to try and fight him. Maybe. I could theoretically charge back there and stuff, but I don't think I will. I think I'll make him come out to play. Over here, we move, this was the Dread Knight we brought back down. So he's got eyes on these infiltrators. Infiltrators. They are a big threat, and I want to get rid of them as quickly as I can. And then we have the Purifiers right here that we dropped in so they can help out, because over here we're able to draw eyes on those infiltrators over here as well. Hey. So as Lane tries to pick guys up, we should be able to still see some of them so we can get the Purifiers Purge to shoot at them. And they could also go at these guys. Lastly, we brought the Interceptors down over here. They're going to be able to move, shoot, and then disappear from the table pretty quickly, because I just need them to finish off for secure no man's land. So we got quite a bit of shooting that we're going to do first, and then we'll see how this rolls out. So we did the shooting and fighting in one because I only had one fight, so we'll wrap around the table and get over there. Most importantly, we removed one obnoxious unit from that I don't want to deal with, and that is the Infiltrators. We didn't have to spend that many resources into them, but we got them. We definitely had to use quite a bit to guarantee they were gone. First, we started off with this Dread Knight. Lane used Armor of Contempt, so on the Dread Knight to try to slow it down, and it worked. He was able to slow him down quite a bit, because otherwise he probably would have picked up most of the squad by himself. The Silencer really went off, being able to get 14 hits off of 12 shots, and the Psy Cannon was able to put 5 wounds down by itself. Then we moved over into the Purge, which they were able to do a little bit of work in there as well too, bringing us down to just having one little dude remaining who was sitting on the objective. And since that guy was sitting on the objective, we then moved back over here to the Purifiers, which split their fire. They shot into this squad, as well as the Infiltrators, spending a command point to go full rerolls to wounds since they're a Purifier squad, and just picked up quite a bit over there, as well as quite a bit over here with those Psy Cannons and Purifying Flames. We shot with these guys to do a little bit of damage in there, hardly anything, but it wasn't important because we just wanted them to be able to move afterward to get on that objective to get us our second for secure no man's land. And then over here, where's where we had our only charged in, and we're able to Lane once again Armor of Contempt. So I picked up 3 out of the 5, and then Lane countered back and was able to pick up 2 of my Interceptors and wound a guy. So not a bad turn. Made some pushes, so now Lane's going to have to react. Lane, are you doing that trick and picking up your friends?
Sure am. Using the captain ability to pick up both kill teams, and then on a 3-up, I get a CP because of the Inquisitor. Oh, we get one.
And now we get a command point for Lane, and that's going to be it. And we're going to kick it over to the Deathwatch turn 2.
So, pulled no prisoners and cleanse. I did use my, for the second time, I forget what the card was I had. I pulled assassinate, and DJ didn't have any characters I can get to quickly. So, I did cycle that out. So, both DJ and I are used up the 2 free cycles.
Adapt and die is done.
Yep, we did the adapting. And so I have no prisoners and cleanse. So, the Rhino is going to cleanse up here. I think that's the only cleanse we're going to have, because we're going to go for no prisoners. The Watchmaster got out, ready to move forward and do some work into those guys. We're all moved forward here. We're going to kill this squad here. We've got the ATV and the rest of the Reavers. Watchmaster going after that squad. Talon Strike dropped in here so they can pop the Nemesis Dread Knight. We did go sustained, and I did do Tome of Ectoclade, so I oathed both that Nemesis Dread Knight and this Nemesis Dread Knight. I also dropped in these Reavers here so they can shoot and then move into and hopefully charge into the Purge here. The Indomitors just came back down on my home field objective because I hear primaries are important, and they'll make sure we just finish off these guys. These two Jump Intercessors just fell back, so I'm not going to be able to do anything. These guys with the Judicar moved forward to go at this guy, and at the end of my movement phase, DJ did rapid ingress with the Purifiers because they're a brutal Overwatch threat, and we'll probably pick up half this squad, maybe even more, because they're going to get full rerolls to hit with their Purifying Flame, and there's 4 Flamers in there. So
And ignore cover.
Yeah. So it will be brutal. Anyways, let's do a little shooting and see what happens. So shooting, we picked up the rest of this squad. These guys shot and then moved 2 inches closer to have a 7-inch charge into the Purgation squad. We did a little bit of shooting into these guys here. Got them down to 3. I did throw grenades as well with this squad. And then we shot with the Talon Strike. We did pick up the Nemesis Dread Knight, but I rolled 4 1s for my hazardous.
Took like 20-some damage on the Dread Knight.
Yeah.
He did not want to. He was done. He was done.
Yeah, but I also lost 4 of my own guys, so that was pretty brutal there. Yeah, and that's about it. So now we're going to do some charging. We're going to find out how bad the Overwatch is here. So let's do it. So to start with, I did lose 5 of these guys to the Overwatch from the Purifiers. There were 4 Incinerators in there, and then they always reroll their ones or reroll all their hits. So even their Purifying Flames, hit on 6s, they get full rerolls, all that stuff. So did some work, chipped away there, but we were able to pick up the Nemesis Dread Knight in combat because he was one of my oath targets and we had sustained. And those Thunderhammers will do the work. Over here, we charged in. We just picked up 1 of these guys, but in return, they actually weren't able to take up any of my guys because they are Purgation squad. There's only 1 guy with like an actual close combat weapon, and I did make the save on his wound, so we just kind of tied them up there. Over here, 1 guy left in the squad with 1 wound. He slapped back and picked up 1 of ours. Over here, the Watchmaster and his crew did a lot of work into that 10-man squad. Only 2 of them left, but they did slap me back. Now they're hitting on 2s because they were Purifiers. Because they're below full strength, they're hitting on 2s and wounding on 2s.
Well, +1 to wound, which strength 6 to wounding on 2s. Yeah.
Yep. So he picked up 3 of my guys there. So a lot of damage done, a lot of destruction. I did max out no prisoners because we shot these guys. Picked up Nemesis Dread Knight. Picked up Nemesis Dread Knight. And then we did cleanse for 1 over there with the Rhino. So that is my turn. On to DJ.
We're going to establish a locus, and Call the Horde is one that we picked up for this round. Lane does have 2 targets for Call the Horde. This big brick back here, as well as the Talon Strike in the center. Not really in a great position to be able to take on either one of them, but I'm going to try and do some damage to that Talon Strike anyways because it's a vicious threat. So if I can remove 2 of Lane's threats this turn, actually almost 3, that'll help at least to reduce some of the damage output part of it. So for Established Locus, we brought in our last 5-man squad of Purifiers back here. They're going to establish Locus and Lane's deployment zone so I can get the full points on that. We battle shocked here with these Purifiers, but they were staying in combat anyways. He passed. He's staying in combat because there's really nothing else for him to do except for hopefully make some armor saves. I mean, if he falls back, he doesn't do anything at all, so I guess that's the best case. I mean, maybe I guess I could have fallen back with him and just made Lane have to take care of him, but I mean, he's got some silly stuff that can shoot and peel 1 wound off a dude, so let's just try and make an armor save and maybe we can kill somebody. We did move out the strike, and they're going to charge in here. They have fight first, but that doesn't matter as much as the fact that we will try to finish off the squad with some mortal wounds from our brother Captain and his nice little ability, since there's a character there. Hooray! In other news as well, we did bring in our Grand Master Dread Knight here. He's fully on the piece of terrain, so he will be able to shoot at these guys here. He's got some heavy damage, so hopefully he can do a little bit of work to him. Again, he's not going to be enough to pick them up, but at least he can do some damage to them. And then we fell back with the Purge over here and moved up the big Purifier brick. We're going to charge in here after doing some shooting, or try to charge in over there after doing some shooting, and try and just pick up these Reavers with all of my firepower. So, all right, let's get the guns a-blazing. Well, the Judicar got in my head. That fight first made me kind of a little bit leery. the hammers, the flat damage, everything just kind of, well, it got in my head. So instead, I decided to shoot the jump infantry and the Judicard kill team with them. I spent a command point to go full rerolls to wound and just pick them up wholeheartedly. Purifying Flame, be good. Over here, we shot, and Lane used Armor of Contempt, so we were able to pick up the 2 last remaining infantry guys, but we did not actually hurt any of the Indomitor, the actual, what are these guys called?
Talon Strike.
No, the mobs.
No, the Inceptors.
Inceptors. We weren't able to take out any of the actual Inceptors, so, well, Lane blew one up for me, so maybe he'll blow a couple more up for me, too. Now it comes down to some charges. We're going to charge in here and try and remove the second of Lane's kind of powerhousey units, and we'll see if we can stick kind of a long charge over here. We do have a command point, so we'll see how this goes down. All right, let's charge. Unsuccessful in the charge over here. However, we did successfully charge in here and picked up that squad. So at least we got 2 of Lane's bigger damage-dealing threats off the table. Still have a Talon Strike with the strong damage portion of it still alive, even though it's at 50% health. And a full strength Indomitor kill team hanging out back there. We're going to pitch call the Horde so I can get myself back on the better side of command points and be on 3 CP. And I will establish the Locust, and that's going to be it for my turn. Kick it back over to Lane in the DeathWatch.
So we are trying to establish a locus and storm a hostile objective. Only one objective that I could storm, and that was DJ's home field. So I auto-passed the Talon Strike. Their guns are assault, and I did advance. I needed a 4 on my advance roll. I did roll a 5, so the Talon Strike jumped up here and took DJ's home field objective. And then everybody else, uppy downy, the Indomitors, they're going to be able to shoot here at the Purifiers. Because I dropped them here, only like 2 of the models can actually see for the Overwatch, so at least I don't take the Overwatch on the chin, and then we'll see if we can do some damage there. I did move the Thunderstrike Speeder up here. He will be able to tag the Nemesis Dread Knight to improve the shooting from these guys. And these guys just stepped back a little bit. Yeah, we're just going to try to hold that objective a little bit. Yeah, we abandoned our home field objective, so that happened. But the Rhino is in the middle here. He is going to establish a locus, and yeah, on we go to some shooting. So the ATV shot 1 of these guys away. Oh, just 1. The Speeder did get a shot through on the Nemesis Dread Knight and did do 5 damage with D6+1 from one of its last talons. Then the Inceptors here shot in. We did overcharge. Weren't able to quite pick him up. He's not oathed, so he is down to 2 wounds, though, which is pretty good. We'll take that. And then put a few shots into this squad from a few random things, but then the Indomitors shot hard. DJ did pop his strat for the 4-up Embalm, but really only affected the Meltas going through, which did actually save him some damage. It kept Crow alive because he made, I think, all but 1 of those. So kept Crow alive, but yeah, that's where we're at right now. So just a lot of damage there. Picking up the Purifiers was a big deal. So now we're going to charge a little bit. Do a little bit of charging here. Here we go. So I did spend the CP here to reroll this 9-inch charge into Crow, but we were able to pick him up. A bunch of twin-linked aggressor power fists going in there. And then we fought a little bit here. I did kill a couple of those guys. He did kill a couple of my guys. So that's where we're at there. So I do score Established Locust for 2 points because of the Rhino. And then we did storm the hostile objective there for 4. So I get 6 on secondaries. Over to DJ.
For this turn, it's Containment and Storm a Hostile. I had to spend my command point to shuffle out because I had Cleanse, and I don't have enough units to complete both secondaries. So we picked up the Dread Knight, and we picked up the little Purifier, the 1 dude left. And we are going to go for Containment back here in Lane's deployment zone and on his home field objective marker. So now we need to storm a hostile objective, which we're going to try and take back our home field with the strike that we brought over here. Now, we already did the shooting phase, and the Purifiers over here did a decent amount of damage to the bike, bringing it down to 4 wounds. And then over here, our Servitors actually picked up 2 of the Plasma Inceptors.
I beg your pardon.
What? Because you got shot down by Servitors?
Servitors, they're not supposed to be able to hit anything.
Yeah, right. So now it's time for us to do some charges and see if we can't pick a couple of things up and storm some hostile objectives. We charged in here and successfully picked up that whole squad pretty wholeheartedly, especially with how little guys were left, and then the Brotherhood Champion going full rerolls to hit and wound with that enhancement for mortals, made sure that we took that character out and didn't have to deal with any crazy invulns. Over here, this continued combat. We took 1 damage and picked up 1 guy and kind of damaged the lieutenant, but something tells me they're not going to be around very much longer. And then over here, we did take out the Reavers and left the ATV with only 3 wounds left, so at least contest this objective. These guys over here did battle shock, being in combat with the Reavers this time, but they're going to be OC0 anyways because of the Reaver ability. Oh no, now it's just the characters. They wouldn't be OC0, but right. They're OC0 because they battle shocked beforehand. So yeah, that's a thing. So we got our home field objective back. So we did storm a hostile, and we're able to contain. We used containment and did it with both of these guys over here for separate sides of the table. And yeah, we're going to call that a turn and kick it back over to Lane.
We pulled Assassinate and bring it down. And this is the Nemesis Dread Knight. So we're going to actually run a risk here for funsies. We're going to see if the Rhino can solo this Nemesis Dread Knight. I did oath him. We do have a Hunter Killer Missile, Storm Bolters, and of course the lovely Tank Shock, hoping all that makes it happen. Yeah, and then we fell back over here with the Lieutenant, and hopefully the Speeder can pick up these 2 guys and dropped in the Indomitor here so they can shoot that squad and maybe make a cheeky little charge into those servitors. Yeah, ATV fell back just so DJ would have to kill him in his turn and not get to kill him in my fight base. So let's see if we do. Let's see if we get this Dread Knight with a Hunter Killer. It serves me right, guys. It serves me right. So I fired the Hunter Killer Missile out here. Got the hit. Failed the wounds. I used a CP reroll on the wound. Got the wounds, and DJ made the 4-up invuln. And then I forgot to save CP for the Tank Shock, and I also failed the 4-inch charge, the 5-inch charge. So I rolled a 4. I did not play very smartly there. Oh well. So, yeah, there's that. Anyways, over here we did some shooting and just picked up, what, 2 of those guys? 3 of those, yeah, 3 of those guys. So that's that. Yeah, that's it for my turn. Didn't really score any secondaries. So I'll just hold on to them because maybe I'll kill this thing later on. Not right now, obviously, but that's it for my turn.
For this turn, we're looking at sabotage and no prisoners. So we kind of rolled this all into one because there wasn't that much going on. So the only thing I picked up was that single little lone purifier and put him right back down here to try to sabotage. Otherwise, the Dread Knight here moved onto the objective, giving us control of it and taking being able to hollow ground, so then he just whooped that Rhino into oblivion, try to solo a Grandmaster. What are you thinking? Over here, the Purifiers finished off the Speeder a little too late, in some of those aspects. Over here, we sort of locked in this combat. Now, this lone little dude actually did hit through and dropped this Speeder down to 6 wounds, and he's lost his friend. So that's been an epic conflict. I don't think it's going to go his way. And then last but not least, over here, we played brave, so we did not move the strike. We stayed still and moved the servitors up. Because if I moved the strike, Lane was going to overwatch me. So move the servitors up, and I'm pretty sure those servitors well bought their points because another multi-melta went through, and Lane had to actually save. Lane made a save on one of them, otherwise we would have picked up 2 of the guys from the Indomitor kill team, but instead we only got 1. Charged the servitors in to soak up the overwatch, and then we were able to stick the charge with the Brotherhood Champion and company. So we were able to pick up a couple more in there, but not quite a lot of damage. More or less, it was just to hold them on the table so they couldn't jump away. So that's going to be it for my turn. We're still waiting on the sabotage, and we're going to kick it over to Lane in his final turn and wrap up the game.
All right, because of my silliness in the previous turn where I had expected a Rhino to solo this Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight, I was stuck with Assassinate and Bring It Down. I spent 1 CP to pitch Bring It Down and ended up with Defend Stronghold, hoping to assassinate this guy over here. But he does have Fight First, and he fought really well. I didn't have any CP to Armor of Contempt because I spent spent it on the cycling on a card, and so he mostly wrecked the squad, so I wasn't able to pick up the character with Assassinate. So the speeder is here, finished off that guy to score me that primary. I uppy downied just the Phobos Lieutenant. He does have the ability to deep strike, so he dropped in here and scored me another 5. So I got 10 on secondaries. So still a pretty close
10
game.
10 on primaries.
10 on primaries, yeah. So I scored 10 on primaries in the last game. So still a very close game. Finished out with DeathWatch at 71 and Grey Knights at 61. So a 10-point game. Probably would have been a little less close if I had, not trusted a Rhino to kill a Nemesis Dread Knight by himself. But, oh well. So follow us over to the post-game battle report, and we'll talk about how everything went. All right, guys, have a good one.